lot of jealousy and a lot of hate in the sport of boxing. I want to see all the young fighters, no matter what your color is. I want to see you do good. I want to see you do great. I want to continue to see great fights.
Obviously, just to secure the win is doing just enough to get a draw. So I have to push harder.
Besides the Roach fight, I knew it would be a good fight because we know Roach is a good fighter.
Floyd Mayweather has allegedly been training Lamont Roach ahead of his rematch with Gervonta Davis. This could give Roach an edge, as he already has experience facing Davis-Mayweather's guidance, may help Roach exploit Tank's weaknesses, sending a strong warning that Davis won't have an easy fight this time. Lamont Roach has been a standout fighter since the beginning of his boxing journey, with an impressive amateur background. He built a strong foundation that is carried over into his professional career. His technical skills, discipline, and work ethic have always set him apart, making him a dangerous opponent for anyone in the lightweight division. Interestingly, Roach has a history with Gervonta Davis that goes back years. When he was just 16 years old, he had already shared the ring with Davis, gaining first-hand experience of his fighting style. That early exposure helped shape Roach into the fighter he is today, giving him an understanding of what it takes to compete at the highest level. Now as a lightweight champion, Roach is gaining more recognition, especially after his fight with Tank Davis. Many fans and analysts have started paying closer attention to his skills and potential. His ability to go toe-to-toe with Davis has earned him respect, and people now see him as a serious contender. With his name gaining traction in the boxing world, Roach is determined to prove that he belongs among the best. His rematch with Davis is an opportunity to solidify his status as an elite fighter. If you liked this video, please subscribe, punch Vista, and click the bell icon for more latest and interesting videos.
Who really is Lamont Roach, bro? And what was his early life like? He was born in Washington, D.C., but he was raised in Upper Marlboro, a city in Maryland. Lamont Roach didn't touch his first bag until he was 9 years old, bro, when his dad took him to the No Excuse Boxing Club. And this is where he learned the basics of the sport and ultimately gained his love for boxing. These two right here are Lamont Roach's parents. This is Lamont Roach Sr., who still trains Lamont Roach today. And this is Lamont Roach's mother here, Tia Roach, and ultimately the reason why Tank let Lamont make it to the end of the fight. But anyway, back to the story. Lamont Roach has two siblings. He has a younger brother, Jordan Roach, who also boxes, by the way. Here's Jordan's box trick right here. And this young lady right here is his sister, Taylor Roach. Bro, by the time Lamont got to middle school, bro, he was training very seriously, man. He was training upwards of 5 times a week, bro. He was taking it very seriously. Lamont was a 2-time National Golden Gloves champ for juniors, National PAL champ, and 5-time Ringside World champ, bro. This man was going crazy, man. And this is the footage right here from 2010 when him and Gervonta Davis actually fought, bro. Gervonta got gold and Roach got silver. They were both ranked number 1 and 2 nationally, bro. So Roach is a hell of a contender, man. Roach had a very impressive amateur record, man, boasting 125 wins and 15 losses. 2 of those losses coming by Tank, man. Also, when him and Tank fought, Roach was 15 and Tank was 16 at the time. 3 years later, 2013, Roach actually won his National Golden Gloves Championship. And he was also USA Boxing Youth National Champ as well. And 1 year later, before his pro debut, he was signed a Golden Boy, man, becoming part of Oscar's team. So in 2014, at 18 years old, Lamont will make his pro debut, where he got a unanimous decision. And it was over Victor Galindo. And he was in school, man, for actually mechanical engineering, following in his father's footsteps, just in case boxing didn't work out. And bro, he was a terror in the pros, man. He was undefeated until 2019, where he suffered his first loss to Jamel Herring. But that's okay, man. He was there to be great. He was going for the WBO super featherweight belt. Over the next couple of years, bro actually had to do a lot of reflecting, man. That first loss is always the worst one. So he did that. After dusting himself off and getting his mind together, bro, he went ahead and captured his own title, man, in 2023 over Hector Luis Garcia, making him the WBA super featherweight champ. And as we all know, man, he just fought Tank this past weekend. It ended in a draw. It was a good fight, honestly. I can't even be mad at it. And bro, Who knows what's next for Roach? Hopefully we get that rematch. Hey, if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching the video. Leave a comment down below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Lamont Roach has steadily climbed the boxing ranks, establishing himself as a formidable force in the lightweight division. As the current WBA champion, he has proven his ability to compete at the highest level. His achievements have placed him 14th in the world rankings and 3rd in the USA. Demonstrating his skill and consistency in the ring, Roach's resume is filled with tough opponents, each of whom has contributed to his growth as a fighter. He has never shied away from challenging bouts, always seeking to prove himself against top-tier talent. His ability to adapt and overcome difficult opponents has been one of his strongest attributes, making him a dangerous fighter for anyone in his weight class. Winning the WBA lightweight title was a defining moment in his career, solidifying his place among boxing's elite. However, Roach is not content with just holding the belt. He wants to continue proving himself against the best. His upcoming rematch with Gervonta Davis presents an opportunity to showcase his skills on a bigger stage and earn even greater respect in the boxing world with his impressive track record and determination. To succeed, Roach is more motivated than ever. He knows that every fight is a chance to build his legacy, and he is prepared to leave everything in the ring. Fans and analysts are beginning to recognize his potential, and a victory over Davis would.
Yo, we're gonna be checking for any suspicious opponents on Lamont Roach record. He's 25-1 with 10 big wins coming by the way of knockout, my people. He's in the super featherweight division. He's ranked number 14 in the world and number 3 in the USA, my people. He has a WBA title right now in the super featherweight division. He's fighting Gervonta Davis in December, but you know we gotta check how he even got there and how he started his career. His pro debut, he went against Victor. He was 1-3. That's fine. It's your pro debut. First fight as a professional. You feel me? I ain't gonna get at you. Next person was 1-6. Alright, I mean, we ain't do better, but it's your second fight. Like, fourth person was 0-1. That was a little sussy because he ended up 0-10. He never won a day in his life. So he never got his hand raised in a boxing match. You feel me? And then the next person, he stepped it up though. He went to an undefeated. It's only 2 fights, but he was 2-0. Then 12-9, that's a journeyman. I'm not gonna lie. 4-2, 3-4, these are looking good. 8-5, that's a journeyman in the making. He gotta win a.
Further establish him as a dominant force in the lightweight division, Teofimo Lopez has openly criticized Gervonta Davis's knockout record, questioning the caliber of his opponents here marked. I think a lot of people just focus on the knockouts that he does, but against who they're not seasoned. Fighters Lopez believes that Davis has yet to face top-tier competition, suggesting that his knockout victories lack substance due to the perceived quality of his opponents. He emphasized that Davis has never faced a fighter like me. Never at all. Never. This critique underscores Lopez's confidence in his own abilities and his skepticism.
So you think you dominate Tank?
I think I dominate any of them. If you really look at it, if you gotta really tap in on this, look at the resume, all that extra, whatever. There's a certain limit that you hit, right? But then there's that next criteria or that next top tier. And if you don't match that, you know, you never gonna know how great you really are. And I've done that a few amount of times already. I jumped out that box and done that. So I have yet to see Gervonta come out of that box yet. You know what I'm saying? They're about to put him with a guy at 130 pounds. Whether he's a champion or not, you're getting a guy lighter than you to come up and weight to make you look good again. You know what I'm saying?
Regarding Davis's standing in the boxing world, despite receiving a lucrative offer to fight Conor Ben Tank, Davis chose to face Lamont Roach, instead believing it would be an easier fight. Many fans and analysts shared the sentiment as Roach a natural. Lightweight was moving up in weight to challenge Tank given Davis's knockout power, and Roach's smaller frame most expected a dominant performance from the Baltimore fighter. However, things didn't go as planned, rather than an easy night Tank found himself struggling against Roach's technical skills, defensive prowess, and strategic game plan. Roach, despite being from a lower weight class, was well prepared and managed to expose weaknesses in Tank's approach. This led to what many consider one of Davis's worst performances to date. The expectation was that Tank would cruise to a win, yet instead he was met with a fighter who refused to back down instead of proving his dominance. Tank's lackluster performance has fueled criticism, with many questioning if he underestimated Roach or if his skills are beginning to decline.
I don't know Lamont Roach, but when you look at Shakur Stevenson, when you're looking at these other fighters that he should really be fighting, he don't want to do them fights. He wants to retire. Yeah. So don't come and but don't come and come at me. Yeah. And go, oh yeah, let's give it all, very big bollocks, and go, oh yeah, let's give him some stick, and then make out like we want the fight, and then we send an offer over, and then you fight for 15 million, and yet you fight Lamont Roach. Don't do all that. Do you know what I mean?
It was a real offer. That was true then.
It was a real offer. We offered. I said, listen, you keep talking shit. My promoter's going to get back to you in 48 hours. 50 minutes. Initial offer sent over. But was it Unquile didn't let him out to play? His boss didn't let him out. That's it. So he wants to talk about 50 million. First offer.
There was room to negotiate.
Of course there was. But he's an idiot. I don't even know if he knows what negotiating means.
Promoter Eddie Hearn has consistently expressed respect for Lamont Roach Jr.'s abilities, despite public skepticism prior to the December 14th. 2024 bout between Tank Davis and Roach Hearn acknowledged the criticism surrounding the matchup, but defended Roach's credentials. He stated Lamont Roach is a good fighter. The problem is no one knows who he is, and with Tank's position in the sport, people want him in big fights, and it's not a big fight. The fight concluded in a majority draw marred by controversy in the 9th round when Davis took a knee without a knockdown being called. Reflecting on this, Hearn remarked, "If you take a knee in a fight and touchdown while punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown." This perspective suggests that, in Hearn's view, Davis should have been ruled down in that instance. While Hearn has not explicitly stated that Davis should have lost the fight, his comments indicate that he believes Roach's performance was commendable and that the 9th round incident warranted a knockdown ruling. This underscores Hearn's recognition of Roach as a formidable fighter despite the doubts of others.
This year or in boxing, there's obviously been a hurdle. Will he get through the second fight, Gervonta?
Maybe not. I mean, I think he's had a result, to be honest with you, because one, he should have lost the fight. I mean, he should have had a point deducted. There's no doubt about that. But two, people criticised the Roach fight. I knew it would be a good fight because we know Roach is a good fighter, but people in boxing know that Roach is a good fighter. Now it's giving him another fight. Because if he would have beaten Roach, he's kind of backed in a corner to fight Shakur Stevenson, I think. But now he's got a rematch that's actually much bigger than the first fight. So, yeah, I think he'll be more switched on for this maybe, but Roach is a good fighter. It won't be.
Floyd Mayweather has always been passionate about mentoring young fighters, helping them reach their full potential. One of his biggest success stories is Tank Davis. Mayweather played a huge role in Davis's early career. Guiding him with his experience and knowledge under Mayweather's mentorship, Davis became a star in boxing, known for his power and skill. However, Davis has since parted ways with Mayweather Promotions, choosing to manage his career independently. With this change, Mayweather has been looking at other talented fighters to support. One of those fighters is Lamont Roach Jr., who recently faced Davis in a highly controversial fight. Their match ended in a majority draw, but many believe Roach should have been credited with a knockdown in the 9th round when Davis appeared to take a knee. Eddie Hearn, a respected promoter, has voiced his opinion on the matter, saying that Roach has always been a great fighter, despite being doubted by many. He also believes that the referee made an error by not calling the knockdown Floyd Mayweather's.
Do you will come back to boxing?
Oh no. I'm not coming back to the sport of boxing. The sport of boxing was good to me. I was able to make a lot of smart investments on the outside, and I just want to help. Like I said, the fighters that's up and coming. Like I was talking about, like Gervonta Tank Davis. I don't understand why he's not in the top 10 pound for pound. Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, Benavidez. The list goes on. There's so many tough fighters out there. So many great young champions out there that I'm proud of.
Influence on young fighters has always been a topic of debate. His approach focuses heavily on defense precision and calculated risk-taking, while this worked exceptionally well for Mayweather during his own undefeated career. Some believe it doesn't suit every fighter. Lamont Roach Jr., however, seems to be benefiting from elements of Mayweather's philosophy. His recent performances show improved defensive awareness, sharper counterpunching, and better movement inside the ring. Roach's evolution raises questions about whether he is now working with, or at least influenced by, Mayweather with Gervonta Davis, no longer under Mayweather's promotional banner. Floyd's focus on Roach could add an interesting twist to their rivalry. If Roach has truly adopted Mayweather's strategies, it could make a rematch with Davis even more intriguing, as it would be a battle of styles, Davis's aggressive knockout power versus Roach's developing defensive skills. Despite Mayweather's proven success, some critics question his training philosophy. They argue that his fighters have lacked the endurance and grit needed for long wars in the ring. Mayweather has famously said that fighters don't need long training camps, believing that skill and strategy outweigh pure physical conditioning. Some trainers disagree, insisting that long-term conditioning is crucial for maintaining power and stamina in later rounds as Roach prepares for a potential rematch with Davis. It remains to be seen whether Mayweather's influence will help or hinder him. Will his refined technique and defensive improvements give him the edge, or will Davis's explosive power prove too much, with Mayweather's shadow looming over this rivalry?
You train 6 weeks before the fight, and Floyd Mayweather messed these boxers up thinking that they can only train 6 weeks before the fight and then they'll be good. Y'all remember when Floyd said that? Give me 6 weeks, I'll beat him.
The rematch is shaping up to be a fascinating chess match between two rising stars. Lamont Roach is more determined than ever as he prepares for a potential rematch against Tank Davis. The controversy surrounding their first fight has fueled his motivation, and he knows he must push himself harder this time. Roach believes he did enough to win in their initial bout, but the judges saw it differently. Now he is focused on making sure there is no doubt about the outcome. Roach has openly stated that he needs to do more, train harder, sharpen his skills, and refine his strategy. "I have to push myself to another level," he said, and added, "I have to do everything just a little more." This time he understands that against a dangerous opponent like Davis, every small improvement counts, whether it's his footwork, power, or endurance. Roach is committed to elevating every aspect of his game. His mindset is clear. He refuses to let the judges play a role in the decision. He wants to dominate and leave no room for controversy. "I'm more than motivated," Roach said. "This time, I'm making sure there's no debate." With his renewed determination, Roach is putting in extra hours at the gym, studying his mistakes and focusing on executing the perfect game plan.
I have to come with it all. I have to do more. Obviously, just to secure the win is doing just enough to get a draw. So I have to push harder. I have to train harder. I have to be more mean. I have to be more physical. I have to do a lot. I have to do everything just a little more. And I think that will definitely put me over the hump. And I'm more than motivated to get back in there, get back in the camp, and work hard so I can secure a victory over a pound-for-pound fighter, in which I believe that I am myself.
If he follows through, the rematch could be his defining moment, a chance to prove that he truly belongs at the top. Roach is seeking high-level sparring partners to elevate his performance ahead of a rematch with Davis, and his aggressive yet technical approach mirrors some of Davis's strengths, making him an ideal training partner.
Is it true? You did want to see him get some work with Boots? I saw in the interview. Yeah, I'm gonna call Hoops. You gonna call him? I'm gonna call him. What? They say they what? They say that. Shit, that's right up the road. That's right up the road. Look, obviously, Tank doing. Obviously, Tank cracking. Oops, cracking. Why not?
Roach wants to challenge himself against top-tier opposition in the gym to ensure he's fully prepared for fight night. By sharpening his reflexes and adapting to pressure, he aims to neutralize Davis's explosiveness. This calculated training move could give him the edge he needs to secure victory. Despite holding a world title, Lamont Roach has not yet gained widespread recognition. Among casual boxing fans, his lower profile has led some to believe that Tank Davis selected him as an easy opponent. However, those who follow Roach's career closely know that he is far from an easy fight. His technical skills, defensive awareness, and steady improvements make him a dangerous underdog. Being underestimated could actually work in Roach's favor. Many great fighters have thrived in situations where they were overlooked. Using it as a motivation to prove doubters wrong with less pressure on his shoulders compared to Davis, Roach can focus solely on executing his game plan.
Like I said, in boxing, at the end of the day, Lamont Roach is a world champion at the end of the day. Like I said, the whole thing about Lamont Roach is that he can fight, and you can't overlook anybody, especially not at the top level. Everybody knows he can fight, and Tank and Lamont Roach have been acquainted with each other since they were young fighters. And, you know, just coming up in the game and knowing each other, the comfortability, that's still something that can threaten one another. But I feel like Tank gonna come out on top at the end of the day. But Lamont might give people, you know, a tougher fight than he might.
Speaking on that though, like you fought guys early in your amateur career, right? And then you fight them now. Do you already know what to expect, or is there somewhat of an evolution?
No, it's definitely an evolution. It's definitely change in people, but a lot of times, you know, probably half the time, people's mentality stay the same, and their personalities don't always change. So you might be more comfortable with somebody, you know, just growing up with them and knowing where they come from and knowing their background and stuff, versus just not knowing the fighter at all.
Who wins that fight, Lane?
Tank. I got Tank.
How?
I don't know. I feel like Tank might break you down, work his way to a knockout, because Tank is great at breaking fighters down, you know, just punches his way into it, boxes his way into it.
Without the expectations that come with being a superstar, fighters who step into the ring. With nothing to lose, often deliver their best performances. Roach's hunger and determination to solidify his name among the boxing elite could push him to new heights if Davis underestimates him or takes him lightly. Roach has the potential to pull off an upset. The rematch provides Roach with a golden opportunity not only to settle the controversy from their first fight, but also to earn the respect and recognition he deserves. That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.